Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again. And first off, I'd like to make an announcement slash update. Sorry about that. In terms of the binge buffet episodes, if you guys care about those, if you know what those are, I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to just edit and release episode 5 by itself. And then after that, I'm going to edit episodes 6 through 10 and then upload those as one video. So, tomorrow I will be reviewing Reminiscence, I guess, because my best friend TJ wanted me to review it for some reason. I don't know why, because it doesn't look interesting to me. It looks kind of like a Redbox rental type of movie. I'm not excited for that one. Anyways, back to topic. So, yeah, I just wanted to make that update so that you guys would know what's going on with that. It's been, with Safi, I thought that maybe having stuff on her phone would be easier because she has more storage than me. I got tons of pictures. I got tons of stuff from doing, film production. I got like an entire outline of a movie on there for reference. And so, but it's been really tough, getting her phone to edit and then send the clips to me because it takes like 2 hours an episode to do that. So, I'm gonna do that to speed things up. And I am here today, though, to review the next Goosebumps book, Cuckoo of Doom. Now, I don't know if I'll review all of the Goosebumps books because I think that it'll take up a lot of time it'll take up a lot of space on the channel. And I don't really know if people want to see that necessarily. So I think that I'll just review the ones I want to review. And then the reason why I'm reviewing them, though, is because at the end, I'm going to do some videos that are like really in-depth analysis videos. And I'm going to have those be my first ever paid videos that you have to purchase to see. And I watched this episode of Monk recently. And in the episode, it really set me straight on my talents. Because it's all about how Monk isn't getting paid that much, and Natalie wants them to get paid more, and she makes a good point. Like, if you were selling ice cream, would you give away scoops for free? And I thought that is a fantastic point, because these videos are basically free ice cream scoops, and not to be like a jackass, like, oh, I'm going to make you pay for everything, and it's not going to be like that, but, I think that that's a really good point with some of these videos. I spend money on the commentary foods. I spend money on movies, and, it would be nice to get paid for it. This, waiting on my ass all day for 1,000 subscribers, it is getting old. It is getting old fast. It's really like a giant waste of time, in my opinion. So anyways, Cuckoo of Doom, finally, for you guys. I if you want, put this as a timestamp in the comment section in case you didn't want to hear all that crap. I just wanted to get that out there for people who do want to hear it. And I understand if you just want to hear the review, because I'm that type of person too. So, Cuckoo of Doom was actually pretty good. I thought that it was just above average a little bit, like just slightly. And it's basically, if you don't know at this point, it's all about this kid named Michael, and he's got this real bitch of a sister named Tara, or Tara, however you want to say it. And she is Tara the Terrible, and she fucks with Michael all the time. She messes everything up for him. She just ruins his life. She does everything she can to make his life a living hell. She has it to where For instance, she puts like a hat of someone else's in his backpack, and then the other person finds out that the hat is in his backpack, and then Michael gets beaten to a pulp to I think they said in the book to where you couldn't recognize him anymore. And I was like, holy shit, this bitch is evil. I mean, Tara, I would say honestly, out of all the villains in the Goosebumps books I've read so far, and I've read like 20 something, her and then the guy from Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, they are the two most evil villains. And I would say, like, she might be the most evil villain in Goosebumps history so far. I mean, she was pure evil. She had no rhyme or reason for what she was doing. She had no, like, oh, I'm really jealous about Michael. He gets all the attention. You know, she had no motivation. She was just evil. And so I thought that was great that, like, even though it's like his younger sister, she's like this ultimate villain. And I just thought that was really cool. Like, that R.L. Stine had the balls to do that. Because, you know, if they did that nowadays, you know, parents would probably complain, and they would say, you're teaching kids to hate their siblings, and you're teaching kids the wrong message. And you know what they would do nowadays. And plus, she's a girl, so they would shove their agenda in there and be like, you know, she's probably just sad that she's oppressed by the patriarchy or some stupid shit. Anyways, so he has this terrible sister, and one day his dad brings home a cuckoo clock, and I don't know why they wanted it to begin with. That is a weird thing. You know, the dad works at this antique store, so I guess he has a fetish for antiques or something. And because it's described as like this really bizarre looking old weird clock, and it's like, you know, honestly, who would want that besides like a rich person or something? Like, why would just some Joe Schmo with a kid named Michael and Tara, why would he want a clock like that? It's a mystery to me. And apparently there's some sort of a defect on it, which, to be honest, that's one of the funniest things about this, is that when I watched the episode, I love the episode. I give the episode like a B plus or something. Like, it's a really good episode. But when I watched the episode, I have the Mandela effect, because originally I swear, I always thought that, spoiler alert, at the end, his sister is suddenly gone. And we find out it's because there's the year of 1988 is missing on the clock, basically saying that the year Tara was born is gone, so that means Tara is gone. And I swear to God, I always thought as a kid that when Michael is a baby in the last part of the story, when he's crawling up to get to the cuckoo on the clock, I thought that he knocked the thing off the clock. I thought that he knocked the year off with something on accident, and they actually showed that, and then the defect was actually something that he did. But in the book, in the episode, I think it's never explained how that defect is there or something, like, right? Like, as far as I can remember, so the defect was just randomly that the year of 1988 is missing. So it just, I swear, if that's not how they did it, they should rewrite it and do it like that, because that would be a better explanation than just there's a random year missing and it's the defect and that's the twist. Like, that's stupid. There are a lot of plot holes in this book, because Michael turns the head backwards, and that is how he goes back in time, and he goes back in time to these specific instances And he goes backwards through his ages, and he goes from like 12 all the way to like 3 or 2 or something. It's insane. It is an insane time travel story, and it is very repetitive though. I mean, let's let's get through the repetitiveness of this book, as there are with a lot of Goosebumps books, the problem with repetitiveness. He goes to a year. That year has some sort of a major issue. He is on that major issue day for some. Oh yeah, it's his birthday. He's on his birthday every time. That's right. Okay. Sorry, I read the book like weeks ago. Sorry about that. But every time something terrible happens, and wait a second, was it his birthday? I don't see. This book is confusing. It is very confusing. There are lots of plot holes that don't get explained and that just don't make sense, and I'll talk about that later because there are some really weird things that happen. So, like, there'll be a time where Tara does something to fuck with him, and then he gets fucked up. And then he tries to fix the time travel thing, and he ends up remembering that actually he can't because this happened. And then he basically has to go to sleep, and he wakes up and he's another age. And this process repeats over and over again of him going back through time, and he wakes up, he has to live through a shitty day, and then he remembers that he can't, and he tries a little bit. He doesn't try that hard to fix this time issue. You know, I mean, there's one point where he actually finds a brick, and he's going to break the window of the antique store in order to get into it, to get to the clock. And I thought that was hilarious because they didn't have that in the episode. And I think it's obviously because they don't want to encourage kids to do that type of thing, you know, to become looters. And so I thought that was hilarious, that he's like, you know, even if I don't do any, I'm going to die. So if I've got to do something, so I'll just go all out. And this book, it's very repetitive, as my review is kind of repetitive. And so I would say that that's the main issue of the book, the repetitiveness. There are too many instances of time traveling. There are too many different instances. Like, there was this one really stupid instance where he's in like kindergarten and he's talking to the girl he likes in the future, and she's basically bullying him and beating him up, and she says she'll only let go of him if he promises to climb this tree. And then he climbs the tree, and then he remembers that this is the summer that he broke his arm. And I just thought, like, you know, there were so many conveniences like that where he suddenly remembers something that happened in the past, and he's like, oh shit, and then something bad happens. I didn't really like that. The main things that I really did like in the book were I liked the person reading it. And I listened to someone named John B., a.k.a. Hot Smooth Chocolate, read it, and he did a really good job of reading it. And so he actually made this story like a lot better than it actually is. Like, spoiler alert, I give this book a C+. It is a very low C+, because it's just mediocre. It takes too long. It's repetitious. It doesn't really have that much suspense, that much tension. It needs a lot more stuff to happen, a lot scarier stuff, because the episode was done way better. I mean, in the episode, they only have 3 instances. And the first instance is basically repeated, or a repeat of the what happens at the beginning of the episode. So the episode simplifies things a lot more, and I think that was a lot better, because the book is just so confusing, and so there's a lot of stuff that didn't need to happen. That being said, I thought it was kind of enjoyable. It's sort of like an adventure book. It's not really like a horror book. I mean, the scariest part is the sister. And I will say she is the best part of the book because she was such a good villain. And she was so scary, honestly. She was scary. I would not, if I had her as my sister, I would like run the hell away because she was terrifying. And I really could see at the end, spoiler alert, why he just said, F that bitch. She can just stay dead. I'm not going to go back in time right now. I want to live my life finally and, get a girlfriend. I mean, that's another thing. There was this one really weird and creepy part where the sister makes it so that the girl that he likes walks in on him in the bedroom in his underpants, changing into a costume for a school play. And, like, I swear, if someone did that to me, I would. I mean, he really had to take a lot of abuse, and the parents were trash. Oh my God, I haven't even talked about the parents yet. That is another drawback of this book. The parents. Oh, sorry, I just choked on my spit. I was like, ugh. The parents, you got the dad, and he is just clueless. He's boring. He has nothing to him. But then the mom is terrible. She sides with the sister every time, and she's like doing this weird thing where she's forcing the family to go vegan or vegetarian. And so she's like, they're like having these terrible dinners. Like, there's this one night where it's like, I don't know, they had this like lentil soup, and there's another night where they had like vegetables with rice, and another night where they had vegetarian spaghetti. Like, they were really suffering. And so that was kind of horrifying too, that like she was, forcing them to eat this gross diet that they didn't want to eat because she was worrying about health and all that crap. And so I actually thought that the sister and then the mom's vegetarian forced diet, I thought that those two things were the scariest part of this book. The time traveling stuff really wasn't scary. It was interesting, it was a good idea, but it wasn't scary. I mean, he travels back to a specific day, and he doesn't have to live out the rest of the year. And so it's very confusing. I don't even want to get into the whenever you do a time travel story too, it's always going to be confusing and not make sense when you think about it, like really think about it. So yeah, I would still recommend this book. I would probably read it again, honestly, because of the John B. reading it. He did such a great job reading it. Like, I wish that I could listen to all Goosebumps books with his voice instead of the awful robot voice, because all the Goosebumps books basically are free on YouTube, but they're all on this robot voice, and it is so terrible to listen to. It is like, ugh, I gotta listen to another book by this robot person going like, John moved on the ledge and jumped on the tree, and it's like, oh. So anyways, if you guys like this video, I know this was very confusing, partially because I read the book a couple of weeks ago, and so I don't remember some details that, I hope I don't look stupid, but I still feel the same way that I felt when I first read the book. So it's not like I changed any of my feelings. I gave it a C+ when I read it, and I stick with it. So please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more Goosebumps reviews, and then comment. Tell me what you thought of Tara. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.